Triumph versus Rebirth. Who's going to take this one?
Pretty standard stuff. Sheikh Zula, he's on utility duty. Double flash, that kit in action on that CT side. Dust2, it's all of the time about this long control most of the time. P250 in hand. These Glocks just rummaging for mid control. Of course, towards this short area, that'll be the initial map control up first.
Triumph going for that really early B stack hasn't really paid off for them. They've completely given up all of this A control. Rebirth have now got free reign of this site, and they can go for this plant and have to hold up against the retake.
This is going to be incredibly difficult, though. A 4 versus 5, Triumph at least giving them some chances here, and Penny will chip in at least for the first. Good damage dealt, the Glocks raining in, and Zotic only able to find one as a response. Penny as well with 2. That really ends the round in its tracks. Defuse can come through.
Incredibly swift stuff. Triumph, I wasn't too sure about it there. As soon as they gave up that A site, they were going for that retake. I thought, you know what? Yeah, this makes sense. The A site's, of course, the more favorable site to go for that retake on, but I wasn't expecting them to execute it as flawlessly as that. 4 stay alive. They put their first round on the board. And this is a very, very clean start from them. Really puts out a statement. Now, as they go into the second, it is going to be an investment all round. Of course, the weapons coming out. I wouldn't be surprised if Rebirth go for some weapons here as well. Of course, they got that bomb plant. We do see that come out nowadays, and that's exactly what they're going to go for. The 2 Galils, AK the Scout, a little bit of utility to work with as well as they go for the pace towards long. Zotic's the first man out, wants to try and find this initial opener, and he's able to convert it onto Curry. That's going to give them this man advantage and tons of legroom to work with here.
Seems to be that constant mid control really just chipping in and coming through. Bit of pressure in the initial couple of moments of this map. At the 90-second mark, expect Triumph just to fall away, play this retake setup. Sheikh Zula, he's got the kit available.
With this bomb down once again, Rebirth are in a favourable position, but we didn't see them take the retake last time. Moose with this boost coming through, might get caught out by Carson. He's going to do exactly that. Only good for the 1 frag, but with time ticking away, pressure's starting to mount here for Triumph.
I wonder if they even decide to go for this. The fallback option seems to be coming into effect already. Rebirth might have just robbed away the first on the A-bomb site. I love that control. Quick kill from Zotic. Not many frags needed. Of course, when you haven't got that open hand for Junior, he's going to be a key member this series. It's not required. It will be 1-1.
What a response for Rebirth to come back from. Of course, they don't take that pistol round. Get stripped away from them in a very convincing fashion. They come right into the second. Very, very confidently indeed.
This is where I'm expecting, yes, the double scout, a bit of reinvestment, 2,000 spent. Triumph don't want to give this one away.
Well, Dene's running over. It's looking like they are going to head over towards this A site early once again. We saw them have a lot of success towards long early on. That's not what they opt for here, though. Instead, they want to head up short. Carson, once again, finding a nice opening headshot. And it's looking like they're going to go through the mid doors. They are upping the pace here, turning it up a notch.
Curry is going to find one in response. This B bomb site is under contest, and with Phantom held at an arm's length, it's Carson instead to find the first. Rebirth, once again, a successful site take, and this B bomb site, it's almost impossible to retake for Triumph. They're held at an arm's length. If they could see what we could see on the HUD, of course, the HP incredibly low. They've got plenty of time to go with as well. So with 4-pack dropping, Zotic finds one as a response. This B bomb site now firmly under contest. M4 retrieved. Both executing outside of B. They don't have much time to work with. And as the 8G falls on deaf ears, they will try and challenge Zotic first. Carson just needs to stay alive. He's unable to do so.
With the bomb beeping faster and faster, I wasn't sure if they were going to be able to get in just in time, but Triumph were able to do so. They retrieve themselves an AK and an M4 to work with in the next as well. And with tons of money behind them, they are going to have a very, very healthy buy indeed. Quite a rocky start here on Dust2. We see the rounds go back and forth. As we go into round number 4, this one should tilt Triumph's favor as they have got a huge firepower advantage here. Early on, it's going to be Rebirth Once again, going for this mid control. 4 men trying to get up short here, and they're just looking for these opening picks. They want to catch someone out from Triumph, getting a little bit aggressive towards short, perhaps. Maybe they just bombard all the way through, and it looks like that's what they're going for, and it's Junior to hold things up. Lands the first.
That AWP, so influential. We know that he's statistically the best AWP on the server. Nades rain in, and 4-Pack can't capitalize through the smokes, through the fire and flames. Retchi's able to find one anyway. As that bomb goes down, Rebirth, 3 successful bomb plants.
I think they've been doing really well. Getting onto these sites and getting that bomb down, of course. And, of course, finding that opening pick as well to do so. The real issue is that it's been through sheer brute force. And surely Triumph start to work out the magic recipe to deny it with 4-Pack in a prime position to deny this defuse. I'm not sure how Triumph get back in here.
I really don't think they do whatsoever. The AWP holding them at an arm's length, and 4-Pack seems to just be doing everything there upon short. Nice successful take once again, 2-2. Back into the action, Josh. It's 2-2. AWPs, not for both sides, though. Triumph, they're kept at bay with just the scout in play.
Round that Rebirth really shouldn't have been able to win, in fact, but it's put them right back into the game. AKs all round. Retchi, the only man down to that Deagle. They should be able to take this one, though. They're just against the pistols on this Triumph side, and they've got a real standard setup. 2 men towards this B site as they face against the flurry of T's, all with these rifles to work with. 4-Pack not quite connecting that initial shot with the AWP, but surely very, very soon they're going to want to push through here.
This UMP, often more successful at close range, and as Rebirth just have this B control, I think they're going to backtrack through the T spawn. Triumph obviously don't know this. They've gone for a stack of their own, a triple set piece towards the B bomb site, with Junior watching the crosses towards mid. Oh, this is a really interesting angle for Sheikh Zula. I didn't notice he had got all the way up through long, and that Deagle just doesn't connect.
That's really unfortunate. You absolutely need to be hitting that first shot with a position like that. You may be even hoping for 2, but instead falling instantly opens the door for Rebirth for them to push right through onto this A site, and Phantom can just keep them busy. There's 3 CTs stacked up into this B tunnel area, and all they want to do is take care of this AK. But in the meantime, that bomb's going to go down, and Triumph are out of this one. Rebirth, a real statement to kick things off, as this is going to be their 3rd.
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, they're massive underdogs here in this series. 3 early rounds here on Dust2, really shaking up the map pool as well. This 3rd round on the board and really taking Triumph to task in this first map already.
I don't know what you do if you're Triumph right here. They've had multiple opportunities to pull away, to extend this lead early on, and it just seems like they're not connecting their shots. Even the Deagle's getting torn apart in these closing moments of the round. It very much looks like Moose should be able to take that scout into the next. Penny with that 5-7 in Kevlar as well. Of course, he'll have more chance of doing damage with it there than he does here. But Rebirth, they take the lead. They build up that economy a little bit further as well. And of course, with bomb plants in every single round so far, their money's looking pretty snazzy. They're happy.
They certainly are. 3-2 as well, building up that scoreline. 4-Pack back with the AWP, full set of utility for this T side, whereas Triumph, not much to really work with. Only the 1 set of Kevlar for Penny. This should be a very simple round for Rebirth as they take long control once again. Triumph, they've been outmaneuvered. This A bomb site firmly up for grabs, and 4-Pack just watching and waiting for the rotates.
Rebirth, nothing really new. They're still going for this aggression. But 4-Pack's just dealing with these pistols with relative ease. I speak too soon as Junior lands himself a beautiful headshot. But Curry all on his lonesome, and there's really nothing for him to pick up either. Only with his P250 in hand, and he's not going to live a whole lot longer. So 4 on the board now for Rebirth, a very, very strong start. And as we look at the economy, every man's sitting around about this 7K mark. So not only can they have a really healthy investment here against this buy from Triumph, but actually, even if they lose it, they can afford to invest into another afterwards.
Really interesting start, but now we'll see the rifles make a reappearance. It's Junior with that AWP. No head armor. That doesn't really matter against the AK-47s. If Rechi's MAC-10 gets up close and personal, sometimes it can be a difference maker, but a nice bit of damage dealt to him as this fast run and gun short control might not catch Curry off guard towards the B bomb site before Sunny rotates over. Now Rebirth, they need to contend with the 4 players. Mopped away on A. Junior to take the first engagement. The flash is perfect, forcing him off the angle. And Goose still in contest. He hasn't been traded. And Triumph should be able to close this one down. 4-pack kept away. Glock in hand. He does find one, but that's him said and done.
A very nice response there from Triumph to come right back into that one, keep 3 alive, and actually a really, really solid defense on that A site. They've responded to this aggression very, very nicely indeed. Instead of trying to counter it with some counter aggression, maybe even some utility, they just play the crossfires on the site and bring Rebirth right into the trap so that they can just come in from all angles and deny it perfectly. Rebirth, quite interestingly, going for a double AWP setup on this T side, not something that you see all too often. But with 4-pack going towards long very, very early, he wants to find this opening pick, and the Molotov makes things difficult. Of course, his teammate's there to smoke it, but no initial kill found, and this is where they're forced to backtrack.
I think we'll see more of this from Rebirth as we get into the series. This zany, uncoordinated counter-strike trying to really throw a spanner in the works, as we said at the very start of that pre-game segment. Moose, it's one and done towards the middle of the map. His short control seems to be on the cards once again.
This utility usage from Triumph is really perfect, though. They're keeping these Molotovs going. They keep throwing these Molotovs, and it's keeping this Rebirth side at bay. They now can't push in. As the Molotovs start to dissipate, they can start to creep their way through. And with Phantom finding that opener, it gives them a little bit more wiggle room to work with as well. They don't have to worry about this flank any longer, and they can continue to press on. But with a minute left on this clock, this is where they need to start making some decisions.
You're absolutely right. It's decision time, and pouring into Junior's position might be the prime way to punish this counter-terrorist setup. He's getting aggressive and unable to connect the first shot. It's the waterfall downwards, and there's the AWP eliminated. Curry really needs to heat things up towards the middle of the map, but it's Penny instead to quite literally put his 1 penny's worth in. Curry's got the angle, and this is where things get really complicated. A 2 versus 2, one that Triumph would want to go for. Remember, Josh, this was a 4 versus 2 situation. And with Penny in the back line, a messy spray away leaves Phantom looking for this 1 versus 2 situation. Watching towards short, needs a headshot. It's the spray away instead. He's got all of the information onto Penny's position and maybe wants to backtrack to short. Let this bomb whittle down. He needs to find the 1 tap, but it's not coming through for either player. There's a nade to whittle it down. A tiny tickle of damage, and it will be Triumph to come out on top. That's a 4 versus 2 there.
That's really unfortunate. Rebirth make a few mistakes there, of course. You see them in that post-plant position. They're playing out in the open. They want to try and find these initial picks to tilt the numbers in their favor further. And instead, it costs them. They completely neglect long. It allows that wraparound to come through. And the clutch just very, very narrowly doesn't go their way. So the scoreline levels up 4-4. We see the Deagles all round for this Rebirth side. And it's Phantom and Carson, the men with the utility, to try and give them a little bit more control early on. But with the double AWP setup here in the hands of Moose and Junior, this is going to be a real solid defense from Triumph.
One thing we probably haven't pointed out yet is Penny is 14-3 in these first 8 rounds. Sensational performance to start off Dust2. If he can continue this pace, then Triumph really do have a chance of bringing this back. And maybe he's bought his teammates just enough time to find their form, not let Rebirth salvage a massive lead. Without his performance, could have very easily been 7-1, 8-0.
Absolutely. He's been putting up the numbers right here, and well, these Deagles just aren't really paying any dividends whatsoever. Even Moose finishing things off with the shot through the door. It's going to put Triumph back in the lead again. They're in the driver's seat. They're where they want to be, but it's been a rocky road to get there. 5-4. They've got the weapons to work with as they face up against, well, a shaken up Rebirth side here.
Really does feel like it's one or more players of Triumph finding a double or a triple in every one of these opportunities. Massive round right there for Moose. Only 4 frags found thus far this series, so nice to see him finally step up. Is Rebirth, do they want to punch the gas towards the B-bomb site?
That might just be the case. 3 T's stacked up towards the tunnels area, and as soon as this Molotov starts to dissipate, they might just swing Moose here. This could be Very, very dangerous. He has got his teammate to support him, though, but with Retchi and Phantom swinging, that's their demise. It opens up this B site, gives them an avenue to cross, but with Junior landing that shot, it tilts the numbers back in their favor and makes this one very tricky for Rebirth to hold on to.
Certainly a retake they want to go for with Phantom holding close. There's the Molotov down. That was whiffed from the CTs. They need to get in and contend with 4-pack. And maneuver his way back through the B-tons as Phantom is still holding ground, watching the smoke, expecting Junior on the angle, and Penny might be next to fall. A beautifully played 2 versus 3 there for Rebirth on the B-bomb site.
I liked the idea from Triumph to go for that initial aggression towards the tunnels, but it only works if there's 1, maybe 2 men there. As soon as there's 3, they go for that double peak, you get completely overwhelmed, and that gives Rebirth the golden ticket into that B-bomb site. And as soon as you're on and you get that bomb down, it's nearly impossible to retake it as a CT. Now, round number 11, we've seen this trend start to form with the rounds trading back and forth. And it's Rebirth going to old ways, heading towards long very, very fast once again. But this time they'll be met by 3 CTs on the bomb site, and it's Junior to find that opening shot.
This aggression has been an absolute staple of the Rebirth T side. It's paid dividends in the first 10, but I can't help but feel, Josh, that we need to see a couple more out of them before this half comes to a close. I think that Triumph T side will be brutal. Remember Dust2? Matt, they're confident on. It's the re-aggression into long. They want to take control once again. And with Phantom being spotted, the incendiary grenade placed, that drops the C4 in its tracks, and 4-pack now needs to take control with only the AWP in hand. He's got 3 to find. Curry also lingering beside the middle of the map, and Moose just going to fire in those preliminary shots. Only the tiny, littlest bit of damage. And 4-pack, he throws his crosshairs into the air. I think he knows this one is over. Should be a 6th for Triumph, of course, on the board. And what can he do? Is he even able to cling onto this sniper rifle? He stayed towards this long area for quite some time. And look at that. Just disastrous crossfire coming in. There's no chance to take this one back.
He's really expecting someone to hunt here, but with 35 seconds left on this clock, no money in the Triumph bank, I think he might be able to get away with this AWP if he falls right back with it. I really like this round, though, from Triumph. They lose that long control, and then they go for the re-aggression, and that can be a really dangerous game. If it doesn't go your way, you can pretty much sign away the round. But by throwing those flashes over, isolating those Ts, holding on that corner, they're able to find every single kill, drop that bomb down, and swing the round in their favor. Really, really beautiful counter-strike, and it puts them back in the lead once again.
4-pack not given an opportunity to shine in the 1 versus 4 scenario. As soon as that bomb drops upon long with 4 players just holding, waiting and watching for that aggression to come through, it's practically impossible anyway. 6-5. Penny being the MVP right there, finding the lion's share of those frags once more. 19 kills to start things off for him. Definitely a bit of stat padding against Rebirth.
That is such a sensational performance to put up early on. And if he can continue that, he might just be the magic man for Triumph as 4-pack. He's not going to be able to hit that cross shot. And there's just a slow default going around for the Rebirth side right now. Spread around this map, they're hoping for some kind of aggression. They know that they've got the lesser firepower. They've just got the Deagles, the Galils in the hands of Carson and Zotic. And the only way they're going to win this is if they weed out the Triumph mistakes. They slowly start to take some map control towards short. They want to try and go for this initial fight onto the bomb site with 4-pack with a big scope rifle in his hand.
Certainly seems like Old Faithful. Junior misses the shot once again. The drop over to CT, but still wants to stay in contention, so falls away to the car angle beside A long. It's Rebirth, still on mid. They've got the less firepower here in round 12 and wants to go on a retrieval mission, excavating that bomb to probably take it towards A long to execute onto this A split.
That's probably the right call to go for here. Of course, Triumph do have this 3-man setup towards the A site, but with Curry in pit, needs to try and clean things up. M4 in hand, finds himself the first. That's going to call it for his teammates to come in with the cavalry. The reinforcements start to rotate, and Junior's able to clean things up. 2 players falling, soon to be 3, as Penny finds another. And this is a very, very swift round for Triumph. Not losing a single man, and that's absolutely more than you could hope for. 7-5 they now sit as they start to find their footing here on Dust2. And if they can continue this form, we could be looking at a 10-5 half.
And another 2 kills from Penny as well. It really feels like Triumph are starting to take control of this series. They're controlling these setups. That speed that Rebirth brought us in the first 5-6 rounds seems to be in the history books at this point. Penny is single-handedly shutting this series down. How infrequently do we see 21 kills in the first few rounds on this CT side? Rebirth are really slow to a halt.
I think Rebirth were really relying on taking the lion's share of these T rounds. You see this aggression paid off in the first few, and now it's just not working for them whatsoever. The Deagle's in hand. They go back to short. They want to try and find some control. They had a lot of success with it earlier on in the game, but now it's not working out. They need to try and find the gaps in the defense elsewhere, and Junior is solid as a rock. You're not going to be able to break him as they try and get through the mid doors, go for this B split. Penny's only able to find himself one, but it buys enough time for Sheikh Zula to come through and clean things up, and Triumph have another clean round. 8-5 they now sit.
Certainly looks like we could be going to this 10-5 setup here. Rebirth really having issues on this T side. We saw a little bit of flare out of them at the start, but again, it's Penny up to 22 kills now. 8-5, rifles, of course, in hand for Triumph after a streak of success. It's back to the AKs in Retchi's AWP for Rebirth.
This is the round that Rebirth absolutely have to win. If they don't, Triumph will almost certainly be able to put themselves onto this 10-5 scoreline. And as they want to try and go for this initial pick on long, perhaps not. Just holding for the aggression. And you see they're paying some more respect to Triumph here. We saw them in the early rounds getting super aggressive early on. Now that's just not the case.
That's what's so interesting about this series. Rebirth coming out of the gates hot, but Triumph really making them respect this. 8-5. Short control once again as Moose gets tagged backwards. Just 13 HP. It's unlucky for some, but certainly not for him as he does stay alive in that scenario. Could have easily died first.
It's a nice response as well. Junior can't connect that shot on short. Falls right off. Calls the Molotov in from his teammates to make sure that they don't just swing out Cat and overwhelm him. That just keeps this T attack at bay. Minute left on this clock. Bomb down in lower tunnels. And they've not been able to find anything besides damage. And as Penny opens things up, that Zotic falling swings the man advantage in their favor, and it's completely untradeable. Retchi knows he can't swing that CT angle without being exposed from the B doors, and he has to fall away and just accept the fact that they've now got this man disadvantage with only 35 seconds left ticking away.
And spread all across this map, they might be reliant on 4-pack, as they often are, this Rebirth side. They're up towards the middle of the map, and Penny knows it once again. Can fall away through this smoke. Definitely doesn't need to engage, but catches his timing. Spots 2 backs turned, and Retchi and Phantom are both going to fall. Curry's there to close, and I'm sure Carson's next to follow. A 9th on the board for Triumph, as they're starting to post a really rock-solid CT side.
Penny with a 4K there as well. He's now sitting 26-5. This is a mental performance. I love the play that he went for there as well. Sitting in that smoke on CT, he could just fall back, wrap right the way around, and try and go for the retake with his teammates later on. But instead, he wants to go for that hero play. Swing out the smoke when the timing's perfect, finish off those Ts before they even get started, and just eliminate that attack. Early on, here in the round number 15, the last for Rebirth to try and put some on the board, they are getting super aggressive on long, and 4-pack straight through the smokes, able to open things up.
Where are the smokes, though? There's only one for Carson, and the utility usage needs to come in right now. Junior's got the angle under guard, and he's the least of their problems. 3 players towards the CT spawn. In Triumph, they have this one locking key. Junior goes down first. His 4-pack's finding the headshots. Needs another one. Moose, he's going to fall in. It's only Curry versus the 3 of them. 4-pack looking for the ace here at the end of this first half. Curry should go incognito, is spotted out as Carson drops. It might be down to 4-pack once again, as it often is, to find his 13th frag of the half. Curry's going to close his way in, sneaking forward, hasn't spotted out Zotic, and with 4-pack on the angle, he does find the headshot, almost the 1 versus 3, and it only just doesn't happen. That's the half over. Quite the successful one for Triumph there. Almost the 10-5. Instead, it's a tiny tickle closer before halftime. We're going to head to a very short break, but don't go anywhere, folks, because we've got the second half of Dust2 coming after this.
under siege and I need you to see that. You're on one side, I'm on another, and we will wage war upon each other. I'm no angel, you're not either. I'm at a fever pitch, you're at a leisurely pace. I'm unscathed, I'm unafraid. A warm welcome to the war game.
Welcome to the war game.
You're no ally of mine. Your life is a kind of lie, and I know that I won't change your mind. We have no common ground, and we're never gonna figure it out. So don't get friendly, get angry. I'll bury you down by the bar. So don't reach out, and I mean that. I'm under siege and I need you to see that. You're on one side, I'm on another, and we will wage war upon each other. I'm no angel, you're not either. I'm at a fever pitch, you're at a leisurely pace. I'm unscathed, I'm unafraid. A warm welcome to the war game.
We're back into this action, ladies and gentlemen. Round number 16 after the first half. Triumph. They take the short lead going into the second pistol. This is basically a must-win here for Rebirth.
Kicking things off on this second half pistol then, of course. This is a real must-win one for Rebirth if they want to close this gap early on. With Triumph heading towards long, they're completely uncontested. They can get out of this corner. They can take these long-range fights. But with just the Glocks in hand, it's going to be a very, very difficult one for them to find unless Rebirth make a mistake. And with this short aggression coming through, this gives Triumph a ticket right in as long as they can get across here from CT.
The A-bomb site is already lost. With this configuration, I don't think Rebirth have any chance. This will be a 5 versus 5 retake, more than likely, unless Zotic can do something insane with this USPS. I really can't see it happening right now. Bomb down, pressure applied. Moose on the initial angle towards the B site, and, well, it's all falling apart. 5 weapons in hand towards this A-bomb site, and as Phantom closes in, Curry's got the angle. This seems to be all over already. Crossfire is placed, and Rebirth, they're getting the job done. This USPS is chipping through, leaving just Moose in a 1 versus 2. He needs these headshots right now, and with Phantom holding up the line, Rebirth takes 7.
What a retake for them to find. 4 kills coming through from Phantom there, and Rebirth snatch your way around that shouldn't have been theirs. They made a pretty huge mistake at the start to give up that A site. Somehow they managed to find it. Phantom sitting on 17 frags as well. He's really pulling his team here to victory alongside 4-Pack, as no one else is really putting up those kind of numbers. This is where they need to try and find this string of rounds. With Triumph getting that bomb down, they're of course going to go for this buy in the second. 3 AKs coming out is certainly sufficient against these FAMASs, but they have to get the frags. They have to find these headshots, and as they head towards B early on, that might be the right play.
Expect quite the fast run and gun setup. This is what's so commonly known as a bit broken about the economy. Look at the weaponry for both teams. Who won the pistol? You'd never really know. AK-47s for Triumph. They've got 3 of them. Sheikh Zula back to the Desert Eagle. And for Rebirth, they've pretty much got a full set of equipment right now. 5 rifles in hand. Those flashes at the ready. No smokes to hold the Triumph side back.
All 3 T-sided players with this bomb in hand stacked up towards mid-doors. And with no one contesting it, there's actually an opportunity for them to go for this B split. As long as they've got a smoke in hand, which only Junior does, to smoke off this cross, they could be able to pincer these men on the B site. But they have to time it perfectly. Rebirth, they're holding true, and as soon as that smoke goes down, this surely initiates the rotations, but it leaves a hell of a task for Carson and Retchy to try and hold up. If they come through, the FAMASs can't get anything done, and it's all on Retchy to hold up the line. He's only good for 1, and that completely opens up the B-bomb site for Triumph.
Yeah, the round is pretty much over at this point. Rebirth aren't even going to go back in. I'm surprised they're even challenging the CT spawn right now. Phantom finds one response, but I think it might be at the cost of these rifles. Shotting out the ready, but Rebirth surely going to lose 4 players out of this one. Flashbangs over the top and Triumph holding the line effectively, assertively. Rebirth still want a piece of this beat. It's so difficult to break back into. It's practically suicide for 4-pack as Zotic has to hold up the line. It'll be a 10th for Triumph. If he doesn't get the job done, they're 6 away from the victory on Dust2.
What a disastrous round from Rebirth there. That's the 2nd round after winning the pistol. They absolutely have to take that one to close this gap. And instead, they have absolutely no mid control. They stack 3 men towards A, really prioritizing that A long area as well. And they just give Triumph far too much leg room. And as soon as they seize that leg room, they're able to pincer in and just constrict those 2 CT players holding on that B site. Really, really perfect stuff from Triumph there. And it gives them that 10th, that all-important 10th round that they need, and the money to work with as well. Just the pistols coming out for Rebirth now as they go for this heavy short presence, but that's certainly the wrong call, because Rebirth, in fact, Triumph, they're going all the way round to long, and they have realized that it's completely open.
Seems to be working every single time for them. Rinse and repeat towards the pointy letter, and now Rebirth have an absolutely gargantuan task to achieve. Zotic stuck in this corner. Really quite tough and tricky to contend with. Bomb should very easily go down, and only really Carson out the ready through that smoke. So he should be watching the angle down, drops the bomb in the open, but Moose is there to capitalize. A bit of a gap, but this does favor the T side. They're able to watch on in with these rifles, especially as they're aware. A minute remaining, bomb should go down, certainly no time pressure for Triumph.
That smoke fades as well. They're not even going to place another. They're going to capitalize on it. They know that they've got the long-range advantage, and they can just find all the kills needed. Leaves it all down to 4-back in this 1 versus 4 situation, and this is one that he's surely not going to be able to clutch. He can grab himself a scout, try and carry that across into the next, maybe even punch in some more damage with it. Oh, there we go. Cheeky headshot onto Curry. It certainly makes it costly for Triumph, but he's not going to go for any more than that. Falls right away. That's going to be 11th here for that T side. And as you say, they're drawing closer and closer to the finish line.
I can just taste it. Triumph seem to be taking control of this first map. Remember, Rebirth, they found the lion's share of these rounds in the first 5, and it's been very little else since. 11-7, really starting to solidify that scoreline, what we were expecting in this one. Sometimes you can throw a spanner in the works in the first 5 or 6 rounds, but these are professional teams. We know that Triumph have a lot of experience at that biggest level of CS, maybe not on the main stages of the IEM New Yorks and ESL1 clones of the world, but they do have lots of online experience. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is an online match.
Oh, I like this play from 4-pack, of course, with 4 men stacked up in B tunnels as well. It could certainly do some damage if he decides to push through further. But Triumph right now, with all of these rifles just facing up against the pistols, they should be able to overwhelm Carson, and he's not able to do anything, not even fire off a shot before they charge through. They are quick, hot and heavy on their heels on this retake. But Junior's already watching for the flank, and there's surely no way back in for Rebirth here. They just get completely shut down, and there's nothing they can do. This is so dominant for Triumph. We saw Rebirth in those early rounds, of course, putting in some crazy aggression that was converting those first 5-6 rounds. But then if all of a sudden Triumph can just bounce right back off of it, they can find the magic recipe, realize that Rebirth are just playing super fast. They can counter it with the utility. We've seen Penny kind of fall off a little bit as well, and actually Curry picking up the frags here. And it's just looking much, much better for Triumph.
Absolutely. 4 away from the finish, and it's Penny applying the pressure once again. Up to 31 kills here on Dust2. What a sensational performance. Probably putting up the biggest numbers of his whole career here in IEM New York in this group stage. It's such a shame that the pressure is down, and maybe this match won't even eventuate to anything anyway. Long control coming through, and it's being contended by both teams. Rebirth had 4 players over here, and they're finding the lion's share of these frags. Sheikh Zula versus 4. It's just not going to happen, is it? 4-pack there to finish this one off.
What a response from Rebirth as well to come through with. After they've lost the last few in a row, you really don't expect them to bounce right back. And Sheikh Zula left in that scenario really isn't able to do anything. He's actually really struggled so far this map. He's sitting 3-12. Not putting up the numbers. Of course, Penny really making up for it, though. He's 32-8. A flawless, standout performance from him so far. But they have to try and tip this one over the edge. And with Junior going for that aggressive peek, he stands in the Molotov. That's gorgeous.
Toasty toes, but finds the frag anyway. And Triumph, I think that's what separates them in this series. Such balls for Junior. And there's the retaliation as well onto 4-pack, solidifying this one-man advantage. And how to Triumph lose this one? I just don't see any possibility at this point. Rebirth, they need to get back in. It's 3 versus 4.
Triumph, they've taken the bomb. They're going to wrap right back round to these B tunnels and try and execute onto the B site later. But Rebirth seem to have a good read of this. They've completely left the A bomb site, and they're going to rotate a man over to try and deal with this one.
4 towards B. And Rebirth, they don't seem effectively set-pieced. Phantom is going to almost drop initially. Look at all of that damage just peppering in. It's the Molotov to deal with Carson. And this round is over. No chance for Varecchi. He's found only 4 frags this series. He's having a real stinker of a map here in IEM New York. Just retrieval time for that AWP. And needs to fall away from the pack. Triumph, it'll be a 13th on the board. And look at the money for Rebirth. I think they've got enough to go for an investment in the next. Could certainly be in ruins very shortly.
Varecchi as well in that final situation, going for that 50-50 gamble. Do I save in T-spawn? Do I save in long? And he goes for the wrong call, gets completely caught off. That is such a beautiful round from Triumph, though. We see Junior go for that initial peek. Of course, when that Molotov comes through, Rebirth are expecting that clears out that long tunnels area. They can then go for the peek and take all of that control. The last thing they expect is Junior to be standing in the flames, still posted on the angle. It gives them that man advantage, sets him up for the second, and allows them to plow through to take the round. This time, the pace changes, but only with the pistols in hand. Rebirth have to try and fight their way out of this one.
Smoke's at the ready, but they will dissipate soon, and the pistols, they'll be out in the open, pants down, completely exposed, and that's exactly why. Triumph able to absolutely triumph towards the long, and Carson, the last man remaining with just the Desert Eagle in hand over beside the B bomb site. Not much that he can do about this one. We'll see 14-8 on the board. Oh, we saw such an exciting start of this map, Josh. I was starting to get really excited. I thought that we were going to have a real game on our hands, but this has been anything but. Rebirth just certainly not the better team in this one. They've been just beaten to the punch many a time, and on this T side, I think that just exemplifies everything. I think this has really just been a very one-sided show.
It absolutely has been. We saw at the very start the rounds going back and forth, but then as soon as Triumph found their footing, they realized what works for them. It's been an absolute landslide. They're about to put this one 14-8. Rebirth, they will have the money to buy into the next, but we have seen that even with the weapons in hand, they haven't been able to get a whole lot done with it. As this bomb beeps away, yeah, Carlson's going to be able to save a Deagle Kevlar into the next. That's going to give him a little bit more to work with. But they need to start getting these rounds on the board sooner rather than later. Otherwise, this map's going to be all said and done. And of course, this is their pick as well. So they really want to be taking this one.
Yeah, just a Desert Eagle armor, though. Not exactly the Euro Millions. 14-8. Triumph might be about to finish this one off. They need 2 rounds to get it over the top, and it might be Junior's AWP to be the difference maker. We've spotted Penny since the start. Another 2 kills for him in that previous round. Up to 34-9 here on Dust2. I almost feel like a broken record, just reading off increasing numbers. Pretty sure this cast could have certainly just been reading Penny's kill feed. He's certainly been a massive member here. Orb retrieved. Moose able to backtrack. Is Triumph resorting to quite the default, pushing through mid.
This has been a much better start for Rebirth. They've managed to win that initial AWP aim duel, and it given them that long control. Forced Triumph onto a makeshift decision as they head over towards this B site. With the flurry of kills coming through on middle, brings things back into a 4-on-3. And Triumph able to take this B site, but they have to hold on to it.
It's that all-important B bomb site. We know how difficult it is to retake, and Moose showing exactly why. Wretch is eliminated before Rebirth can even close through. And that Molotov's going to stunt the clock for even longer. Curry wants to get aggressive here, and I don't think anybody's ready and waiting for it. A headshot robbed away. Zotic executed. And now 4-pack and Phantom might need to backtrack. It's not going to happen. They all get destroyed by Curry. More of a Vindaloo towards the middle of the map. 15-8.
Curry, I mentioned it before, since Penny started to drop off a little bit, not putting up the crazy numbers he was in the first half, Curry has been picking up the pieces. 4 kills in that round, and a really, really important time for him to step up. They had that man disadvantage. It was very much looking like it could have gone Rebirth's favor in the retake, but instead it goes right the other way. Match point now, and they should just be able to close this one as they face up against the SMGs. The Molotov not going to hold them off, and the flashes make things very, very difficult to hold this A-long area. 4-pack can't get anything done, and the AKs find the openers.
It is Penny to find another one, and this map looks very over right here, Josh. Carson needs a 1 versus 4 just to keep this one alive. Remember, Rebirth's map pick. Dust2 not going to go their way, and not even necessarily close here to finish things off. 16-8 for Triumph. I don't see any way back in for the MP9. It's a nice, colourful, flowery weapon, but I don't think it's going to sting for 4 frags here. He's already given away his position. And that's the map over for Triumph. Sensational stuff to start us off here on our